What are some common signs that someone grew up with /TTY parents? Emotional numbness, especially in the face of bad things. Once you've seen enough shit, certain things just don't faze you anymore. Haha, I regret clicking on this thread. Having no desire to see them. They get attached way too quickly to anyone that shows the bare minimum of human empathy. Is this how I write it? Towards them. Edit. Thank you for the awards, and I'm also calling myself out with this. They don't form attachments to others. They grew up in an environment where such attachments were a negative and/or resulted in negative outcomes. They are always trying to figure out what they did wrong and what they're supposed to be doing and how, while editing their own thoughts and feeling vaguely bad. Who is the best male character who isn't a tough badass? Ooh, and Arthur Dent. Any character that Rick Moranis played. Philip J. Fry. Daniel Jackson from Stargate SG-1. He kind of became more of a badass in the later seasons, but originally he was the less physically strong, non-military character. His primary strengths were academic accomplishment, cultural, historical expertise, patience and empathy. Rincewind the Wizard. He can't spell. From Terry Pratchett's Discworld series is about as much not a badass as it is possible to be. Ben Wyatt. What is a fashion trend that you can't stand? Expensive clothes that look like cheap clothes, as if the rich who can afford them are mocking poor people. $1,000. Shoes. White t-shirts or any other t-shirts, or just any $1,000 simple clothing just because of a name. That annoyingly popular TikTok hairdo. The one where guys with typically straight hair throw a bunch of product in it to make it look like uncooked ramen noodles. Having plastic surgery to get the generic Instagram face, aka the Kardashian-Jenner face. Also BBLs. Women's shirts that have some dumb saying on them like, wildflower, or some shit. I just want a t-shirt. Ripped jeans that are too ripped. Like it's more whole than fabric. What scientific fact or theory scares you to your bones? There have already been 5 mass extinction level events. Naegleria fowleri, brain-eating amoeba, has a 97% fatality rate and it's immune to most antibiotics. Quite a common one. But space is so big. Like, bigger than the amount that we can observe. Gives me the chills. Alzheimer's, dementia. Anything where you lose your memory or become a burden to your family. Edit. I didn't expect this to get so much traction, but wanted everyone to know I am reading your stories. With tears. I am just sitting here with crying my damn eyes out. I want you to know as I read each one. I think of you. I pray for you. And if you don't believe, I don't know if there is a God. I still send love and hope you find some peace. I suppose that at any moment you can have an aneurysm and bam, you're dead, and there's not much you can really do to prevent it or even predict it. Just being alive is the most fucking bizarre thing in the world. What's the biggest, oh shit, moment of your life? I slipped and fell outside, tried to stand up and felt bones grinding against bones, oh shit. Parachute got all tangled when I was doing my first solo skydive. Scariest moment of my life. Having a few relatives die over the years. But when it came to my dad, someone close, dying, especially since it happened in front of me, made me realize, oh shit, death is real and it never gets better on your happy days. My husband had a pregnant fiancée before I met him. He found out she was cheating. She ran to her parents. Had the baby. Put unknown as the father on the birth certificate and the whole family disappeared. It's never really been a secret. But after all these years, over 30, we figured it wasn't his. Apparently. We never told my younger daughter. Guess who matched with her half-brother on the DNA website a couple nights ago? My left hand got stuck in a conveyor belt during maintenance session. Fortunately, my colleague was there and just in time to trigger the e-stop. If it was any second late, I'd have a hard time playing FPS games. Made a mistake of picking sodium with bare hands to put it back in the container while my hands are still wet with water. Oh shit, got some burn marks but are healed today. When I realized it was too late. Oh shit, time to go in. Waiters and waitresses of Reddit, which dish gets the most complaints at your restaurant? Anytime there's a carpaccio or seared tuna or ceviche or anything that's intentionally raw. And there's no winning for the servers. They have to make absolutely sure that the customer understands the meat is not cooked, so either the customer feels insulted because they did read the menu and understand that already, or they aren't going to listen anyways and then they send it back and ask us to heat it up. Not when I was serving, but when I worked at Coldstone and their new monthly flavor was strawberry basil. I forced people to try it before buying it because it was so nasty and a very high majority would complain and want something else. Shrimp ceviche tacos. They had it on the menu for years. People ordering it didn't know what ceviche was, so they would always complain that the shrimp was cold. What's even worse is that the recipe for the ceviche mix sucked. So even the people who liked ceviche would send it back. Any edits suggested to menu items would fall on deaf ears. Ex-waiter, diner employee. One major thing I learned is there is no exact standard on styles of eggs. Once a day someone would send eggs back. Most commonly, sunny side up eggs would get complaints for being undercooked. Over hard eggs would get complaints about being overcooked. And about half the time we sent eggs out poached. People complained about the yolk being runny. I work at a bar. With wings and ribs, burgers and all that type of jazz. Our bar just came up with now serving sushi. So you can only imagine how many times that crap gets sent back. Maybe this isn't an issue anymore, but back in the early 2000s when I worked at an authentic taco place, people would be so confused when they got their order of tacos. They'd stare at the tacos made with 2 smaller corn tortillas, meat, cilantro and onion, and they'd flip out. What's this? Where's the cheese and lettuce? What's this taco shell? Quote. We'd try to explain. Some people would just eat them. Some would demand a refund and left in a huff. What's your sewer? This is a Wendy's moment. Not me. My daughter. She answered the phone. Appropriately. Radiology. Guy on the phone was looking for some test results. But she couldn't find his name. Or his wife's name anywhere. Long confusing call. Finally she asks for the name of the animal. What animal? I'm asking about my wife's test. Quote. Sir. This is a veterinary hospital. Before AutoShack was forced to rename themselves AutoZone, I worked at Radio Shack and somebody tried to exchange spark plugs. He was upset and was more upset when I told him we don't sell spark plugs. He got a little nasty until I told him to look around. Now you know why Radio Shack had to make AutoShack to change their name. They even used the same colors and font on their signs. I used to work at a drive-through coffee stand. 2 guys came through, clearly high AF, asking for cheeseburgers. We explained that this is a coffee stand. We have breakfast sandwiches. But if they want cheeseburgers they'll have to go down the street to Jack in the Box. It took them a solid 5 minutes of us re-explaining this to them before they understood. Another time it was super early in the morning. Working at the same coffee stand. A woman rolls up and it legit looks like she's sleeping. She orders her coffee and hands me a punch card for a different local coffee stand. I said, oh, wrong card. Happens all the time. She looks at the card, looks at me, looks around, and says, what? Where am I? Quote. And I've just realized neither of these people probably should have been driving. Yikes grimace. I actually work at a Wendy's, and someone tried to use an Arby's coupon. One time this older dude rushes up to order and slams a coupon on the counter saying, "I want this." I pick it up, it has menu items for KFC. I ask him, "What exactly would you like to order?" He instantly gets disgruntled with me for not reading his goddamn mind and shakes his finger at the coupon and said, "Well, whatever is on the coupon." Obviously. In a condescending tone. I just look at him for a minute and say word for word, "Sir, this is McDonald's. I don't know what you want me to do with this KFC coupon." He looks at me dumbfounded. Then looks behind me at the menu and around the store. Yells, "AWH. Shit." Like this isn't his first time walking into the wrong establishment. Grabs the coupon and storms off. Former police, emergency dispatcher. People would call for all sorts of things. Like settling an argument over the rules of Monopoly or other board games. Answers to crossword puzzles. Complaints about the weather. Etc. My favorite over the years. The power's out. Can you have the fire department come over and hook up a generator? I need to watch the ball game. Subscribe, my brothers.